Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind. Plus, every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News.
New details about the ransom notes publicized after the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie have reignited interest in the case.
Renewed attention on that first alleged ransom note comes after it was read on the popular Crime Junkie podcast. The note was sent to TMZ and a couple of TV news stations in Arizona, which is where Brianna Whitney was working at the time. Whitney said the note was addressed directly to Savannah Guthrie. Later alleged notes claimed the 84-year-old Guthrie died shortly after she was taken. There was never any proof of life, and not one of these alleged ransom notes was ever authenticated.
Fox's Claudia Cowan. Since her disappearance in January, authorities have not made any arrests or identified any person of interest. Singer Chris Brown has pled guilty to fighting at a London nightclub in 2023, where authorities say he hit a music producer over the head with a bottle. Brown remains free on bail and will be sentenced in October. A former NFL Pro Bowler and TV analyst has been booked on a drunk driving charge.
Former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo has been arrested in Milwaukee on suspicion of operating while under the influence, an OWI. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says Romo was stopped Thursday at around 8 p.m. and performed poorly on field sobriety tests. He was later booked and released from jail and is now scheduled to appear in court in September. Wisconsin state law says a first offense OWI is generally a civil offense, with a citation typically carrying a fine ranging from $150 to $300. Romo is from the Milwaukee area, having grown up in nearby Burlington. He's a four-time Pro Bowler and is now the lead NFL analyst for CBS Sports. Tony Genualdo, Fox News.
The Democratic National Committee has selected South Carolina to hold the first presidential nominating contest in 2028. The decision most likely cements a Democratic primary calendar that moves away from Iowa and New Hampshire. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Heavy congestion as you make your way south on the Foley Beach Express from Highway 59 to Canal Road. Add on an extra 20 minutes of drive time. It's also heavy on Highway 59 from I-10 to Gulf Shores. Add on an extra 25 minutes of drive time. With Time Saver Traffic, I am Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement. Batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Friday evening, what a feeling. I feel like singing. Weekend, do what you want to do. Weekend. Be what you want to be, weekend.
Wonderful town, wonderful people, places to go, things to see. My love is Mobile, that's my wonderful town. Beautiful homes, schools and churches, entertainment, places to shop. My heart's in Mobile, that's my wonderful town. Mobile, a center of transportation, business and industry set the pace. Mobile's got the Junior Miss celebration, home of Mardi Gras and Senior Bowl game.
Mobile is great to live in and work in.
The climate's ideal for progress you see. My love is Mobile. That's my wonderful town.
And now, live from Mobile, Alabama, as the stomach churns, starring Uncle Henry,
coming to you through Electro Voice microphone. Joining Henry will be callers, emailers, radio and internet listeners. So without further ado,
thank you so much. I appreciate so much you listening to the Uncle Henry Show. I really, really do. And once again, here we are together, just the two of us, me and you here, trying to figure out what is going on. What is going on in the world around us? What has gotten into people these days, aside from the devil, in addition to it? Telephone number, if you got any ideas, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. I'm a little worn out. Went down to the wharf in Orange Beach yesterday for the Turnpike Troubadours and Muscadine Bloodline concert. Back here in Mobile today, and then got to go back over there tomorrow for the Luke Bryan, the legendary Luke Bryan, in concert at the wharf in Orange Beach. I spent a lot of time on the road. Spent a lot of time on the overstuffed highways of South Alabama, especially in Baldwin County, where they got way too much volume for the roads they've got. And I've seen a lot of bad driving. I've seen a lot of bad driving. I have, and also some disgusting bumper stickers. But if we could just drive a little bit better and put less nastiness on our bumpers, what a better world we'd live in. Again, the telephone number 251-479-2723. There's a bunch of things to talk about. My goodness gracious, all kind of things to get into. I've got voicemails that have stacked up. Let me start with a voicemail. I don't believe this is on any particular news item. We'll get to some news item-oriented voicemails in a little while, but just a quick one. I think from this afternoon this was phoned in.
Roll Tide, Uncle.
By the way, a Roll Tide. Thank you for always Roll Tiding me. I think I'm starting to get an uptick in Roll Tides, and I appreciate it.
Roll Tide, Uncle. Couple of things. Starting to get the Vote for Me flyers in the mail this week.
Oh, I'm pausing there, not to just annoy you, the listener, or the voicemailer, but to say I'm starting to, it's been almost every day I've got a mailer for somebody running for office. Almost every day, and it's the same guy. And I know that the experts will tell him, "Oh, this is effective. This works. Getting this big old card in somebody's mailbox every day, it works. We need to spend some money on this." I would say to him, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It does. Your absence from my mailbox would make my heart grow fonder towards you. And right now, the familiarity of seeing you in my mailbox every day is beginning to make me feel some form of contempt. You've heard familiarity can bring contempt. I would rather it be absence makes the heart grow fonder when it comes to the garbage that you're sending out, running for office into my mailbox. Please keep your trash out of my mailbox. But back to the voicemail.
Me flyers in the mail this week. Oh, man. Straight to file 13 with them they are. What a waste of money. Hey, the other thing is I've seen them pictures of you on the Facebook with them country and western followers and stars and whatnot. I got to noticing something. I know you're against it because you used to give Leanna a hard time. And by the way, I don't have any myself. But I noticed everybody you got standing around there with you looks like they got tattoos. Is that the way they do it? The the country and western swingers, are they into the tattooing and everything now? I thought maybe that was just a military or a rock and roll thing. So when you gonna get one, Uncle? Since you're a country and western DJ. All right, buddy. Checking you out here in about an hour and a half.
69-year-old Chris of West Loxley, thank you for your voicemail. Thank you for looking at my pictures on Facebook of me at the country and western concert, standing there with the radio listeners that have tattoos. Now, you asked me, when am I going to get a tattoo? Excuse me. Well, I don't really want one for myself. It's just not, I wasn't raised during that. When I was being raised, you would have, the military would get tattoos, as you pointed out. Those men that are in a band of brothers, the military, they would get a tattoo. Or bikers would get tattoos and stuff like that. Regular folk that just went about their business weren't really getting tattoos back then. Nowadays, it's everywhere and all over the people. Everybody's getting them. The younger the generation, the more covered they are in them. You did see pictures of me with some men and women covered in tattoos. When am I going to get one? You asked. Well, as I said, I don't really want one because I wasn't raised up in that. But if there was a way for me to somehow get paid to get a tattoo, like if you could, if I could be promised like a year's worth of free medical care for me and my wife, where I'd get the logo, I'd get like a Buc-ee's on me or a Wawa or what, somebody willing to pay, or even a pharmaceutical company. If we could just get like a year of, or something like that, a year or 2 years worth of medical care paid for. Now that I might be willing to do it for something like that. I don't want it on my head. I don't want the tattoo on my head or nothing, but if it was on some other body part, and not on any bad body part, the ones that we don't like people to see. But if I could get, like a pharmaceutical company would say, hey, yeah, you're getting older, we'll pay all your medical bills for the next couple of years. Just put this drug logo on your arm or something. I'd be perfect. I might do that. I might be willing to rent out some space in order to get something valuable like medical care. But thank you for asking. And yes, they're all over the place. I think there were already a lot of tattoos in country music by the time I got into country music a few years ago. And then Jelly Roll comes in and becomes one of the top stars, and he has them all over his head, all over his face. He's working on getting some of those removed while his fans are trying to look like him. So it's a weird dynamic. But again, thank you for the voicemail. Voicemail number is 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976 to leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show. Now I'm going to take a very brief time out. Then I've got some other stuff. I've got some news items and some voicemail mentioning news items. So we'll get into all of that and more show as we move forward here on News Radio 710 WNTM. This is the Uncle Henry Show, News Radio 710 WNTM. We have news headlines coming up in 10 minutes, give or take several minutes. Telephone number to reach the Uncle Henry Show, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Now, I've been watching the news this week about Pritchard. We had the story, I guess it was Wednesday, where we had a grand jury come out and recommend that that they fire their police chief and that they go ahead and just get rid of the police department and start over new and hire some kind of a consultant and get themselves some type of brand new police force, a new police department in Pritchard. And then I saw that the Pritchard City Council met and the mayor did not come to the meeting. The mayor had something. What could be more important, unless you were getting surgery or somebody you loved was getting surgery or something? What would be more, if you're the mayor, what would be more important? The next day, they have a big press conference. They announced that the grand jury's recommended you fire your police chief and all this stuff. And then the next day when they have a meeting, the mayor is not there. Something more important than that? All right. And also seeing that at the same time that they're struggling, and they're struggling mightily in Pritchard, at the same time they're thinking about some type of moratorium or a ban on new data centers. And I understand people are concerned. They don't know what to think about data centers. It's still kind of a new controversy. Even though some people have been talking about them for months, it's still new to some people, the whole idea. People are wrapping their minds around it, whether they like it or not. If somebody wants to build something in Pritchard that would generate any kind of tax dollar, there's no city in Alabama that needs tax dollars more than Pritchard. I'm sure there's other poor towns. Nobody needs the tax dollars more than Pritchard. Maybe they might want to wait and think about it a little bit before they try to not have data centers there, just because money is one of the things they're going to need to solve this mess there. But more on this in a moment. I've got a living caller. Let me go to the living caller hotline here. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Uncle Henry.
Bert, you're live on the radio.
I got to ask you something. Do you remember Pritchard Park?
I do not.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
No.
Did you grow up in Mobile?
I grew up in the Mobile Sims area. Yes.
Well, I lived in Tolmanville and then later on in 8 Mile, so we were pretty close to Pritchard. Pritchard used to have a park. There used to be political rallies there. They had a lion. They had some kind of an ape, but I can't remember whether it was a chimp or a gorilla. I was too young to be able to distinguish species of apes. But Pritchard used to be the place to go, Uncle Henry, for a lot of things. We did a lot of shopping there.
Oh yeah, well I do remember that Pritchard was once a kind of like Daphne is now, but I don't remember the park. Is it not there anymore?
It hasn't been there since about the mid to late 60s.
Okay,
that's how far back this goes. But I bet you some of your listeners are old enough to remember Pritchard Park. I don't remember much about it except the zoo critters and the political rallies. I think Governor Wallace spoke there one time.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was there. I was 5 or 6, I guess. But, Uncle Henry, this is probably the most controversial proposal you are going to hear on this show.
Okay,
today,
good.
Or probably this whole week. Why doesn't Mobile just annex Pritchard? We would become the second biggest city in the state again. If they're talking about abolishing the police department and all kinds of corruption and everything, Why doesn't Mobile just put it up for a vote among Pritchard residents, whether they want to become part of Mobile?
I think the reason would be the financial liability for all of the problems. You think Mobile has infrastructure issues. Pritchard has tremendous infrastructure issues. There's not that big of a tax base. I don't know. I don't know that it would be good for Mobile other than increasing the population, and that would be it.
Well, I lived in Pritchard just 4 years ago, and I saw everything that you're talking about. I saw a lot of businesses closed down that could be in operation. I don't know what if I won the Alabama lottery. If there was ever an Alabama lottery, and I had like $500,000 to spend the way I wanted to, I think I would open up some businesses in Pritchard and just see if I could revitalize that area and see if they would last.
What kind of businesses would you open? What kind of business would you try?
I don't know. There's in the route that I used to pass from my home to the grocery store, I used to pass a barber shop that was out of business, an auto repair shop that was out of business, several places like that. I would start with stuff like that there's always going to be a customer base for, and make it better than the places they go to now. I don't know. There's a barber shop up by me, Uncle Henry, that's very small, but they offer an incredibly good deal. I would try to start a place like that.
All right. Well, that is one that it's nice that you would want to help, but I don't know that there's so many liabilities financially that it just would be the citizens of Mobile certainly. The Mobile is just now handling infrastructure we went, I don't know how many, 20 years with our infrastructure falling apart before anything was done to fix it. So Mobile's still got a lot on its plate.
Longer than that, Uncle Henry.
Yeah.
I'd say about 30 for some of these places. One more thing, Uncle Henry. My band is playing at the Blues Tavern again this coming Friday afternoon, a week from today.
Oh, okay.
4 to 6 p.m.
From 4 to 6?
Rock band. Yeah.
Right during my show. I'm going to have to figure out, eventually I'm going to have to do my show there just so I can see the band.
That would rock, Uncle Henry.
It would.
That would literally rock.
It would.
Well, thank you for taking my call, Uncle Henry.
Bert, thank you for reminiscing about Pritchard, and it is. I never would have imagined George Wallace giving a speech there, but the past. When you look back, if you look back far enough, the past looks really weird. It does. If you look back far enough in the past, it starts looking really weird. Now, when I look back through the past, first it feels really comfortable, and it's really awesome. And then the further back you go, the weirder it gets. That's just the way it is. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Gonna take a timeout for news headlines and then back with more, because I did want to just mentioning that whole thing about data centers and Pritchard and everything just makes me want to share a news item about data centers with you here coming up on the Uncle Henry Show. A reminder that if you'd like to listen back, I've had a lot of bloopers on the show in the last month due to this new software, and a lot of people love bloopers. They do. They love broadcast mistakes. And if you want to listen to some of those, the Uncle Henry Show is available as a podcast. You can find several episodes on the iHeartRadio app. Just look for Uncle Henry Show on the iHeartRadio app. And the last month especially, if you love broadcast mistakes and bloopers and things like that, you'll find those in the Uncle Henry Show podcast. All right, back with more Uncle Henry Show after the news break here on News Radio 710 WNTM.
14th night of airstrikes on Iran as President Trump continues to signal that a massive attack is in the works. Congressman Russell Fry wants Lindsey Graham's Senate seat.
Democrats see this as an opportunity. The map is real. The fate of the Senate is real. They've recruited candidates like Annie Andrews, who would bring the same far-left agenda that has left behind millions of Americans and put America last.
Graham's sister Darlene, who was appointed by Governor Henry McMaster to fill his term, also says she's going to run for a full term. LeBron James says he's taking his talents to Philadelphia. The 41-year-old forward assigned a 2-year, $8 million contract with the 76ers. He's looking for a 5th NBA championship. America's listening to Fox News.
President Trump says he hasn't made up his mind yet about restarting major combat operations in Iran. At the White House today, Trump was asked by reporters about his comments to Axios that he's considering a massive attack on Iran that would be bigger than the airstrikes conducted during Operation Epic Fury. Trump said he hasn't decided yet, adding that we're talking to Iran right now, and he believes that Iran is very serious about negotiating. This comes as the U.S. and Iran have renewed attacks against one another. Tonight is the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner following an assassination attempt at the original event in April. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump looks forward to finishing what he started. The dinner will be held at the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, D.C. instead of the previous Washington Hilton. There will be a shorter guest list and enhanced Secret Service security. This all comes after 31-year-old Cole Allen of California was accused of sprinting through security with guns and knives in an attempt to assassinate Trump and other White House officials. I'm Chris Karaji.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Congestion is developing on the Cochrane Bridge east on Highway 90 from 165 to I-10. It's an 18-minute drive. Very slow on the Foley Beach Express from Highway 59 to Canal Road. It's a 33-minute drive. And also it's slow on the Bayway eastbound from I-65 to the Eastern Shore, 37-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging and replacement. Batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Hey, Uncle Henry here with two people who know a thing or two about financial stability. Meet John McNeil and Virginia O'Brien with Mobile Bay Financial Solutions.
Hi, I'm John. In today's unpredictable economy, staying informed is essential.
And I'm Virginia. We will help you make smart decisions, even when the market feels uncertain.
Our strategies evolve with inflation, market shifts, and policy changes, so you don't have to worry. From retirement planning to legacy planning, we offer more than investment advice.
We help you manage emotional discussions with clarity and confidence. Let's talk about your goals and where we can help. Call us today at 251-666-5000. That's 666-5000.
Mobile Bay Financial Solutions, navigating what's next together.
Advisory services offered through Mobile Bay Financial Services, LLC, an Alabama-registered investment advisor. We can offer investment advice in states where we are registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. The material contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice, securities, insurance, or other investment products.
Why do you love movies? Is it the emotion, the spectacle, the escapism? On Raiders of the Lost podcast, we explore cinema like no one else, including huge interviews with stars like Ryan Gosling on Project Hail Mary.
It was like the Jaws shark. Didn't always work, came with its own problems. That's what made it great. The heart of the movie is Rocky and Grace, and their friendship is hard-earned.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Raiders of the Lost podcast, and listen now.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Identity theft can cost.
Uncle Henry's Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. In the last half hour of Uncle Henry's Show, if I remember correctly, I brought up data centers and Pritchard, the Pritchard City Council thinking about a moratorium on data centers in Pritchard, even though they would be a community that would really need any kind of tax revenue they can get. Now, this is already being talked about by the guys running for governor of Alabama. Senator Coach Tuberville, very much in favor of having as many data centers as is possible. Doug Jones saying, hold on a minute, we need more looking at this, more legislation, whatever. Here's a brief report. I think this is from WSFA up in Montgomery, a stepsister station of Fox 10. I think this is a report on what both of these guys are saying about the data centers.
Conversations surrounding data centers in our region remain popular. Some data centers are expanding while other plans are being canceled after community feedback. And now 2 candidates running for governor of Alabama are sharing their thoughts. WSFA 12 News anchor Ian Alvano has the latest.
Data centers remain a big talking point. Facebook is expanding its Montgomery data center. A data center in Lowndes County has been proposed called Project Red Clay, and prior plans to build a data center in Tallahassee were in place before that was shut down. Senator Tommy Tuberville and Doug Jones speaking Thursday on what data centers mean for Alabama and the positive and negative impacts that they bring.
But there's no reason why we shouldn't securely house and manage our data right here in our great state. You know, data centers are a revenue game changer and can have life-changing impacts for our small rural communities.
And the fact of the matter is that right now, with the lax rules, regulations, and the lack of transparency in Alabama, you know, we stand to be the dumping ground for data centers from all over. And I don't think that the people of Alabama want that or deserve that.
Opinions differing from the 2 candidates that will appear on the governor ballot in November. Senator Tuberville emphasizing the money, tax revenue, and jobs that will be brought in by data centers, whereas Jones says there are too many unknowns when it comes to affordability and environmental impacts.
By affordability, I mean, we've got to make sure that every one of these data centers, when they go up and where they go up, they're going to comply with laws and regulations.
Google has been operating a data center in Scottsboro, Alabama for the last 15 years, and that has brought more than $500,000 in investment to Jackson County schools.
Now, Jones says laws and regulations must be put in place so that Alabamians aren't paying more for their electric bills every month. Senator Tuberville wants to assure state residents that they won't be paying a single cent more for energy if a data center moves to town. Val.
All right, Ian, keep us posted. And according to Senator Tuberville, there are currently more than 20 data centers already within the state.
Okay. Well, As everybody's still learning about them, I guess one of the things that you hope doesn't happen is that somehow it's a surprise when you find out one is going near where you live. That's the one thing. Whether you like them or not, nobody wants to be surprised when one is coming in. You want to wake up one day and find out that there's going to be one right around the corner without anybody telling you and having no recourse. Now, I think I got a voicemail about data centers. Yeah, here, I think this mentions data centers at the beginning of the voicemail.
Andy, this here is different. Henry, about all these here data centers they're building out in the country.
Yeah.
My grandparents used to call that area where they're trying to put them the country.
Right.
Anybody was going up hunting camera, they just say, we're going up the country. But anyway, there is an unforeseen circumstance that they're going to have to deal with, and that is the meth head.
Now wait a minute. The meth head. I didn't know that was still a thing. Is that still a thing? I mean, years ago, that was a big thing around here, unfortunately. It was terrible. I don't hear people talking about it anymore. Is meth, or as some people call it, meth, is it still a thing?
Have to deal with, and that is the meth head. Henry, talk to anybody that's got the cell phone towers or the power. Talk to the power people about their substations that are out up the country way. And they are constantly fighting the meth head infestation of stealing copper wire. Henry, them data centers are going to be stripped of copper wire all the time. Anyway.
And by the way, now that you mention this, and again, I'm now, the next time I get a chance to talk to the sheriff, I want to ask the sheriff of Mobile County if there are still meth or meth heads running around doing stuff like this. But now that you mention this, there was a story out of Atlanta. I think they have a data center up there where they were using robot dogs. Do you remember this? Where they had robot dogs patrolling around there trying to keep the peace?
Might be a good contract for a local security company to look into getting, because let me tell you, man, a meth head has superpowers. They'll shimmy through air conditioning vents. They'll pull all the ground and wiring system out of a power substation and survive getting shocked by a bajillion volts. Seen it done, Henry. Anyway, just happened to be driving by down in the Foul River area one day, and a bunch of polices and ambulances and all kinds of emergency type personnel, and stopped and asked what happened, and they were loading up a meth head that had cut the last grounding wire off of the power substation, and when he did that...
A power substation? I guess you'd need to be on very hard drugs to want to do anything to a power substation.
Meth head that had cut the last grounding wire off of the power substation, and when he did that, it electrocuted himself. But don't worry, Henry. According to my little sister that's the nurse that happened to be at the hospital that meth head went to, he made a full meth head recovery. Now, his veins were tattooed by the electricity throughout his body, but he was out stealing more copper wire and such in about 2 months. But takes more than 1 million volts to stop a meth head. But anyway, Henry, it'll be interesting to see when these data centers start getting them copper wiring stripped. Anyway, always got to watch out for the unforeseen challenges of areas you start to build stuff like that in, and where they're putting them, it is a highly infestation of meth headery. Anyway, Henry, you have a good day.
All right, well, Buford, thank you for that. I really am going to ask the sheriff about this. It's not something, I don't hear it in the news like I used to. You know, years ago, it was a terrible problem. Heard about it all the time. I'd hear from business people all the time about the meth heads. I don't hear about it anymore. I just made the incorrect assumption that it was that people were getting high on something else these days and not on the meth. Buford, thank you for your voicemail. The voicemail number is 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976. Leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show. And that reminded me of another voicemail I got. This one came in from a guy that is in favor of making sure that people stay in jail when they've done bad.
Hey, you notice every time.
No, that is a different voicemail. Here is the voicemail about the staying in jail.
Uncle Henry, why is there a second chance for all these losers? They should go to jail. There should be no getting out of jail. They should all go to prison for the rest of their lives. Enough of this crap. Thank you, brother. Love you.
All right, sir. Thank you for that voicemail, and I love you too. Now, and that just sparked, no pun intended with that other voicemail, but it did spark an idea. You know, these data centers, one of the things people are worried about is we're hearing people worried that it'll make your power bill go up, that they'll use too much electricity. And we were assured by Coach Senator Tuberville that would not happen. But that's what some people are worried. Some people are worried that your power bill will go up. And you just heard this man say he wishes the people would stay in prison. Well, what if we used the data centers as a form of low security prisons and had them built together and have the inmates generate the electricity on treadmills? I know that sounds weird, but this is something I remember. I think Gilligan on Gilligan's Island was able to generate electricity on some type of bamboo bicycle contraption that the professor had rigged up. And certainly if they had that technology back in the 60s, they could have something like that now. So we could have prisoners that are serving their debt to society and tell them, you know, well, you can get out of jail once you generate this amount of power. And it might take you a few years of walking on the treadmill, or maybe we could have like a hamster type wheel. We wouldn't call it a hamster wheel. It would be like a prisoner wheel. But you know what I'm saying. Have them walk on a treadmill or on one of them bamboo things that Gilligan would pedal, or a wheel, a prisoner wheel, and let them generate the electricity. And that way we could have prisoners in jail, and they'd be getting good exercise, and they would be helping society by generating electricity for the data center. And the data center would have good security because it would also be in some type of public-private partnership with our prison system. This could be a good idea. This could be a good idea. Let's think about this. And it would be, nobody wants, it sounds like a lot of people don't want a data center near their house. And I can guarantee you, nobody wants to live near a prison unless they're really weird. So just, this would all work together. It would all work. This is something, please, somebody smarter than me, figure out how to get this to even smarter people so that they can take advantage of this idea. All right, voicemail. I'd like to thank Buford and this other anonymous guy that loves me for helping me bring this together in my mind. I think this is a good idea. And don't doubt me on this technology. They were doing it with bamboo back on the Gilligan's Island show. All right, there's more to come. I've got to take a quick time out, and then I'll have more Uncle Henry Show after the break.
Sure, add an extra 20 minutes of drive time. Also, if you're planning to travel to Mississippi, you've got an accident on I-10 West near Highway 63 in Moss Point. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Bakke.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging and replacement. Batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
If you run a business, you know how hard it is to get your customers' attention. Yet 85% of consumers say radio is the last thing they hear before shopping. Let iHeartRadio help you reach your next customer today at iHeartAdvertising.com.
Healthy, beautiful skin starts with the right care. At Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center, our board-certified dermatologists combine experience with the latest technology to help you achieve your healthiest, most confident look. And this month, you can save $40 on Jeuveau and receive 10% off SkinCeuticals products. Schedule your appointment today by calling Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center or visit AdvancedDermClinic.com. That's AdvancedDermClinic.com.
What if we told you Matt Damon was screaming on set to get his voice weather worn for The Odyssey? From the TikTok Podcast Network, Raiders of the Lost Podcast has the whole story about the biggest movies of the summer. Download the iHeartRadio app and search Raiders of the Lost Podcast now.
For more information about contests on this station, go to newsradio710.com/rules.
For a few scattered clouds across the area tonight with muggy conditions, lows in the mid-70s. We heat up fast on Saturday with a daytime high in the upper 90s. We will see a heat index above 105 on both Saturday and Sunday, so stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. I'm Fox 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith for this iHeartRadio station.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like classic American Top 40.
We're counting down the hottest hits in the nation on American Top 40. I'm Casey Kasem.
Number 20. Enjoy Casey Kasem and the original episodes of American Top 40 in their entirety.
Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM. News headlines coming up in less than 10 minutes and then more. Uncle Henry Show. Let me go back to the voicemail on the Uncle Henry Show. If you want to leave me a message, 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976 to leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show.
Hey, Uncle Henry, LD. Man, I'm telling you, I've had it. Retired, semi-retired, and trying to make my money stretch, Uncle Henry. I'm trying to stretch a dollar. So I thought, I know what I'll do today. I'll go to Wendy's and get me a double stack hamburger. They're $1.39, I believe. And I get over there and I pull in and I order, and he said that'll be $3.69 for a double stack hamburger. You know what I told him? You can have it. I'm not paying for it. That's too much money. Way too much money. That thing was $1.39 a couple of years ago, and now it's $3.69. No way, Jose. I am not going to throw my money away like that, and that's exactly why companies like Wendy's and all these hamburger joints that want twice as much for the food than it's worth are going to go out of business. Guaranteed.
Well, and LD, I feel your pain. The inflation that we have had, now it's not running rampant like it did before, but prices did not go down when they had their huge jump during lockdowns and the government just printing money and sending out stimulus checks, and then here we are with the food prices and just the prices of so many things. For people like you that saved your money all your working life, and then you get to retirement age, and guess what? Surprise, surprise! Your money will not buy what it used to. Your money won't buy what it used to. Your money doesn't have the value that it used to have. It is, I get just as mad as you do. And still, going and shopping for things like food can still be a shock to the system, seeing the prices so much higher than they were just a few years ago. So, LD, I feel your pain, and I know a lot of people do. A lot of people trying to figure out, and a lot of people cutting back on things. Now, let's see, before I'm out of time for this hour, let me slip a voicemail in. This was phoned in yesterday afternoon while I was working, or right before I was working at that concert at the Wharf yesterday.
Roll Tide up. Calling from the front porch here on this beautiful Thursday. Just happened to notice 44 days. That's right, 44 days until Alabama kicks off or receives the kickoff. We don't know the extent of that just yet. Against the East Carolina Pirates. September 5. September you 5. Mark it on your calendar. Roll Tide roll.
Roll Tide rolls. 69-year-old Chris of West Loxley, thank you for keeping me informed and up to date on the Alabama Crimson Tide and all the different calendrical movements as we get closer and closer on the calendar to kickoff. It is, I mentioned earlier this week when that unusual young man called into the show. This is one of those years where I'm looking forward to it more than usual. Always look forward to it, always entertained by it, but it's been quite a year, and looking forward to having the diversion and the entertainment for just a few hours a week of some Alabama football. And it's more of a mystery than usual because of all the changes in college football. Mystery of how good the team will be and who's going to be good and all that good stuff. So looking forward to it, and thank you again for that voicemail, keeping me up to date on that. The voicemail number 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976 to leave a message like Chris did and like LD did for the Uncle Henry Show. I'm going to take a timeout for some news headlines. We have news headlines from Fox Radio National News coming up here at 6 o'clock, and then more Uncle Henry Show for you on a magnificent Friday here on the Gulf Coast. Thank you for listening to this hour of the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Let's go ahead and take the break.